every fault and shortcoming we are all guilty of. We all confess that no one is perfect and nothing is perfect except you. So we seek you for guidance. We seek you to help us to be better stewards. We humbly ask you to give us the creative geniusness to solve the problems that plague our city, community, schools, churches, and businesses. We humbly ask that you prick our hearts to become more understanding of humanity. Let us not be guilty of picking and choosing who to render aid and resources to. For your word reminds us that what we do for those who lack, who face insecurities, who are in need, we're doing it for you. So today, God created in us not only a clean heart, but a generous heart. Not a heart that feeds greed, but a heart that ensures that everyone who calls Memphis home has the same access to resources, opportunities, and prosperity. As recipients of amazing grace, we too offer grace and ask that you help us to offer grace to those who are just as involved but seeking reformation. May we offer grace to those who had no clear vision in their life in the beginning, but now have gained a clear conscience for life and desire to be better. May we offer grace to those we often disagree with, grace to disagree without being disagreeable. We seek your comfort in the challenges we are facing. Help us not to play the blame game in challenges, but work together to improve what we may have inherited or were included in because we remained silent when we should have spoken up. So help us to always choose you. When it comes to justice, when it comes to the right thing, help us to choose you. Help us to choose you in all the decisions we are tasked to make. And finally, we ask for comfort. Many of us have been hit with grief lately, blurred by grief, silenced by grief, confused because of grief. Some of us, our disposition has been shifted because of grief. And we understand that grief is the price we pay for love. So we pray today, God, that you comfort everyone that is facing grief in one way or another. And may you be glorified in our grief. We praise you now in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Dr. Warren.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for your prayer, Dr. Boyce. Councilwoman Easter Thomas, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of Councilwoman White, who is doing her civic career duty, greetings. Be hereby known that Dr. Reginald Boyce, in recognition of a life of exemplary qualities, outstanding service to the city, meritorious involvement in humanitarian affairs, and demonstrated concern for governmental process, has been appointed Chaplain of the Day of the Memphis City Council and is hereby entitled to all of the honors, rights, privileges, and prerogatives appertaining to the office and to the display of this certificate. So this is given on the 20th day of August, 2024, presented by myself, but honored, bestowed upon you by our Councilwoman, Janika White. So thank you, Dr. Reginald Boyce, all the way from Riverside Missionary Baptist Church. Right. Thank you. You can take my seat.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you again, Dr. Boyce. Madam Comptroller, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Councilmember Carlisle. Here. Cooper Sutton. Easter Thomas. Present. Ford. Present. Green. Present. Logan. Present. Spinoza. Here. Swearingen Washington.
Present.
Walker.
Present.
White. Warren.
Present.
Smiley. Chairman Canale.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. I believe Councilwoman Swearingen Washington has read the minutes for our August 6, 2024 meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I have reviewed the minutes and find them in order. I move for the adoption of the August 6, 2024 minutes.
Minutes were moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Espinosa. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Carlisle, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
That item passes. Welcome, everyone, to the August 20th, 2024 regular meeting of the Memphis City Council. Meetings of the council shall be conducted in an orderly manner to ensure the public has the full opportunity to be heard and the deliberate process of the council is retained at all times. The Sergeant at Arms has meeting agendas available up front, as well as comment request cards for members of the public wishing to be heard on a specific item. All those wishing to speak on an item must turn in their comment card to the Sergeant at Arms before the item is called. If you are not here to speak on a specific item, you can note your request to give general comment at the end of the meeting. As chair, I will only recognize citizens that properly registered to speak by submitting a completed comment request card to the Sergeant at Arms. Members of the audience and persons addressing the council will not be permitted to engage in gossip, make defamatory, personal, slanderous, or profane comments, or use abusive or vulgar language. The chairperson of the council may maintain order by giving any persons who are in violation of the stated rules of decorum a warning to cease in violative conduct in order to leave the council's chambers, or by giving an order for security personnel to remove any disruptive person in the council's chambers who refuses to leave voluntarily. These rules are posted on the doors as you enter the chamber and as you pick up comment cards. Consent agenda item number 10 will be held until September 10th. Item 11B on the consent agenda will be held. Its public hearing is changed from September 10th to September 24th, 2024.
Madam Controller, if you would please call item number 1.
Item number 1 is a resolution recognizing and honoring Robert Knecht for his years of service with the City of Memphis. This resolution is sponsored by the Memphis City Council.
Councilman Ford Canale, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ooh. This one's extra hot. Colleagues, it's an honor to stand before you and alongside who I'm proud to call my friend, but also a former colleague, former director, Knecht. You were an amazing public works director, and the city is forever indebted to you for the service that you provide us. We wish you certainly all the best, but your gain is certainly our loss here at the city. So I'm going to read this resolution to you, and then colleagues, similar to what we did with Steve Schuler, I would, if you would oblige, to come down and take a picture with Director Knecht. Whereas the Memphis City Council has seen fit to honor individuals who have improved the community and shown unwavering dedication and service, Robert Knecht is undoubtedly deserving of such recognition. And whereas Robert Knecht has served the city of Memphis with distinction for over 21 years, including 5 years as deputy director and 8 years as director of the Public Works Division, the third largest division in city government, operating and maintaining essential infrastructure, including streets, sanitary sewers, storm drains, bridges, flood control systems, and the city's publicly owned treatment works, while also overseeing code enforcement, environmental enforcement, commercial code enforcement, and the grounds department. And whereas Robert Knecht's educational background includes a master's degree in business administration from the University of Phoenix and a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of Memphis, which equipped him with the knowledge and expertise to effectively manage and maintain the crucial infrastructure of the city of Memphis. And
whereas under Robert Knecht's leadership, the Public Works Division managed 2 enterprise funds in addition to its general fund responsibilities, resulting in a total annual operations and maintenance budget exceeding $200 million and over $200 billion in planned capital improvement program, CIP. And whereas during his tenure, Robert Knecht was a transformative force within the division, implementing restructuring initiatives and pioneering the use of new technology to enhance service delivery and efficiency, and diligently oversaw a $350 million upgrade to the T.E. Maxson Water Waste Treatment Plant, significantly improving the infrastructure and service capabilities of the facility. And whereas during the COVID pandemic, Robert Knecht demonstrated innovative leadership by deploying 100 trial cameras to address a 300% increase in illegal dumping complaints, spearheading an AI initiative that provided for the installation of cameras on city equipment to detect potholes and code violations. And whereas Robert Knecht's contributions to the city of Memphis have been invaluable, marked by his dedication, innovative thinking, and commitment to excellence in public service. His leadership and service have greatly enhanced the efficiency and effectiveness of the Public Works Division, and his presence will be profoundly missed as he retires from his position as director. His visionary approach and tireless efforts have left a lasting impact on the community and set a high standard for those who follow in his footsteps. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Memphis City Council hereby honors and extends its profound gratitude and appreciation to Robert Knecht for his outstanding service, contributions, and dedication to the city of Memphis, given by the hand and under the great seal of the city of Memphis on this 20th day of August 2024, J. Ford Canale, Memphis City Councilman, Super District 9-2. And he so moves.
Well, I didn't think I'd ever have to talk in this microphone again. So, but I thank you guys, the council. It's been an amazing run. I always felt I had the best relationships with every one of you, and I know there was always times that things were somewhat challenging, but we worked together to solve them, and that's something I'm proud of. I want to thank my wife, more especially than anybody. She deserves 10 of these. And, I hope that she understands that. I wish, she couldn't make it. She's just getting through COVID, actually. So she put through more than anybody. So, but she deserves more credit than anybody to this. And I thank her so much for all her love and support. And onto my division, there's so many people here who came down. I can't thank them enough. It was them who got the job done. So please stand up to all the division for they're amazing. They don't get the appreciation they deserve for all the great services we provide. And like I said, I was just one person doing a job. It's a team that makes a difference, and that team is beyond belief in how great a job they do. So thank you all very much for this. It means a lot, and I look forward to the future, and maybe again you'll see me in some other capacity. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I hope the microphone picked that up. I want to send that to him.
Madam Controller, please call item number 2.
Item number 2 is a resolution celebrating the anniversary and service of the United States Coast Guard. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Canale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, equally honored to recognize the members of the U.S. Coast Guard. If I could get you all to come down, please. whereas on occasion the Memphis City Council has seen fit
Support
to
him.
honor and celebrate individuals for their service to the community, the United States Coast Guard is one group of individuals worthy of that recognition. And whereas the United States Coast Guard was established on August 4th, 1790, by the signing of the Tariff Act, which authorized the construction of 10 vessels to enforce federal tariff and trade laws and prevent smuggling, thus making the birth of the United States Coast Guard. And for over 2 centuries, the United States Coast Guard has been dedicated to safeguarding the nation's seafaring interests and ensuring the safety and security of its waters and coastlines. And whereas the United States Coast Guard is one of the oldest federal organizations and has served as the nation's only armed force at sea until the establishment of the United States Navy, and throughout its long history has protected the nation and served proudly in most of the country's conflicts. And
whereas national defense is one of the United States Coast Guard's most vital duties, and the Coast Guard is consistently prepared to safeguard our shores and waterways, offering indispensable support, including search and rescue operations, navigation system support, marine environmental protection. And whereas during Hurricane Katrina, one of the nation's most devastating natural disasters, the United States Coast Guard's heroic efforts resulted in the rescue of over 33,500 lives, including an estimated 24,000 lives saved from peril and severely dangerous conditions, showcasing their unparalleled bravery and commitment to public safety. And whereas the U.S. Coast Guard's motto, Semper Paratus, meaning always ready, reflects its readiness to respond to any challenge, and its members embody this spirit in their daily duties. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Memphis City Council hereby honors and commends the U.S. Coast Guard on the 234th anniversary of its founding, recognizing the men and women of the United States Coast Guard and their vital contributions to the national safety, security, and environmental protection of our nation's waterways, and expresses profound appreciation for the sacrifice and service of its members. Thank you so much.
Madam Comptroller, please call item number 3.
Item number 3 is a resolution honoring Dantree Harris and the students from the Tennessee College of Applied Technology for their contributions to the city of Memphis through the haircutting and hairstyling events. This resolution is sponsored by Councilwoman Swearingen Washington.
We are so excited to be able to present Mr. Dantree Harris for everything that he has done in the community. I would like to share a video with you at this time.
Hold on a second.
Hi, I'm Janice Swearingen Washington. I'm the City Council Representative for District 4. This is a community haircutting event. It allows our students at Tennessee Applied Technology to be able to get hours, to be able to get the experience, and also bless the community with free haircuts. We know that the better you look, you feel good about yourself. Confidence is there. We want our students to look as good as possible, feel good about themselves, and have a successful school year. The turnout has been fantastic. It started really small, but it's been growing and growing each time we've been doing it, and they're coming in consistently. So we just want the word to get out to know, hey, this is a free professional service. Come on and take advantage of it.
Dantree had the vision to be able to share his talent with the community. The students have to get hours, and he said, you know, this would be an opportunity for us to be able to share our gifts and to be able to bless children in the community and to see them come in looking one way and going out with the smiles on their faces and to be able to save parents money. As you know, haircuts are very expensive. And when you have children, you paying $35 and $40 a haircut, that can be, you know, quite a challenge. So we are thankful that the instructors have come. Mr. Travis is here, and we are just thankful for them sharing their gifts with the community. It started with District 4, but it has expanded and it has gone throughout the greater Memphis community. So, Dante, we are honoring you. You thought we were just honoring the students, but you are the man. Come on up. Surprise, surprise. Whereas on occasion, the Memphis City Council has seen fit to recognize individuals who have enriched the community and demonstrated exceptional initiative, passion, and dedication in their endeavors. And Dantree Harris is one certainly worthy of honoring. Dante was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, with deep roots in North Memphis, where his passion for athletics and the arts was cultivated through participation in the Stax Music Academy, oratorical contests, Memphis Black Alliance, and as a contributor to the original Biz Town. Dante, a 5-sport varsity athlete at Middle College High School, poured his higher education at Murray State University, where he laid a strong foundation for a diverse and dynamic career in his education. He further strengthened by his 8 years of honorable service in the United States Army, where he rose to the rank of sergeant. Upon his return to Memphis after military service, he dedicated himself to the Memphis Shelby County school system, where he has shaped young minds as an educator for the past 6 years, now serving as a graduation coach, co-dual enrollment coordinator, building testing coordinator at his alma mater. And in addition to his work in education, Dantree Harris is a creative and multifaceted individual known as the creative director and owner of Dewan Dion House of Fashion and the Christian-based clothing company. That's right, he sews and designs as well as a gospel recording artist under the alias, what is it? Neighborhood Hero, whose music has inspired and uplifted the youth of Memphis. His dedication to the city of Memphis extends to his role of co-youth director of his church, where he mentors and guides his youth Christians. And his pastor is here. We're so thankful to have Bishop Woodson in attendance. Further enriching his community through his membership of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Whereas Dantree Harris continues to invest in his personal growth and community service as a student barber at TCAT Memphis, utilizing his skills and resources to create weekly opportunities for free haircuts and hairstyles at community centers throughout the city, and most recently contributing to the Memphis Shelby County Schools Back to School Drive to ensure that scholars were prepared for success. He believes that the future of our community rests in the hands of our youth, and his unwavering commitment to guiding, nurturing, and inspiring them is a testament to his belief that the right support and opportunities, they can achieve greatness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Memphis City Council, recognize and commend Dantree Harris for his outstanding contributions to the city of Memphis. We celebrate his dedication to education, to community service, and creative endeavors, and we wish him continued success and fulfillment in all of your future pursuits. Given by my hand under the great city of Memphis, this 20th day of August, Janice Swearingen, Washington, Memphis City Council, District 4. We're so proud of you. Thank you. We'll give you an opportunity to talk, but we also have one of our instructors, Reginald Travis, and we have certificates for all of the students because they have been given their time since the spring. They dedicated their time throughout the summer, and we are just most appreciative of your instruction and your guidance. And he makes sure those haircuts are tight, razor sharp. Thank you so much. Dante?
Hello, you all. How y'all doing today? My name is Dantree Harris, and I am I'm happy to be here. First, giving honor to God for allowing me to have the talents that I have, and also to Mr. Travis, an amazing instructor at TCAT. I have grown up here in Memphis all of my life and went to college and just had different experiences. And as an educator, I feel like it's important to let our students know that there are more than one ways to meet success. So I wanted to be the perfect example of that. Not only am I educated and have a bachelor's degree and pursuing my master's degree to become a principal, I also have my CDL as well as being in the Army and working on my barbering license. So I am happy to be here, happy to be able to share where I've been and where I'm going, and I'm very appreciative for this reward and everybody here. Thank you all.
Councilwoman Walker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To Dantree Harris, thank you so much for your contribution and sharing your skills and resources and talent with the community. I had the opportunity and pleasure of having you all come to the Back to School Bash at the Hickory Ridge Community Center, and you all did a marvelous job, and we were so glad to have you on board, and you all serviced the young ladies as well as the young men, and we had a good time, and just thank you all so very much. And in conclusion, I just want to offer my condolences to your director, Ernestine Pete, who lost her mother on last week. Thank you all again.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Isha Thomas.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Swearinger Washington, for bringing this honor because the TCAT students and Mr. Harris have just been so helpful to the folks in District 7 at Greenlaw and the summer camps around the summer. So just wanted to add that thank you along with Councilwoman Walker.
Madam Comptroller, please show that approved by acclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So noted.
Would you please go to item number 26?
Item number 26 is an ordinance to amend and restate referendum ordinance 5862 that proposed an amendment to the charter of the city of Memphis to modify the existing requirements for qualifications for mayor and the city council members of the city of Memphis. Up for third and final reading, ordinance number 5913 is sponsored by Chairman Smiley, and there's a request for same night minutes.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilwoman Swearinger Washington, you're recognized.
Yes, the committee met and had a favorable recommendation, and I so move.
That item was moved by Swearinger Washington, seconded by Spinoza. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for 26.
Carlisle, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearinger Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
That item passes.
Madam Controller, please call item number 4.
Item number 4 is a resolution pursuant to Chapter 9.6 of the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, approving a special use permit at the subject property located at 3745 Outland Road. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is SUP 24-09.
Councilman Canale, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee did not give a recommendation on this item. However, the applicant and DPD are on hand. Colleagues, if you would like another presentation, we have. Wow. I'm going to. Councilwoman Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you repeat what you just said? You said the community met and...
Committee met did not give a recommendation on this item. I don't believe. Was there a negative recommendation?
Did you say community? Yeah. Did you say community or committee?
Committee. You good? All right, colleagues, I'm going to...
Has it been moved?
I'll move it to the floor. All right, I'm going to recommend 15 minutes for each side. We've got a lot of comment cards.
Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yes, sir. Councilman Carlisle.
May I be recognized to make a motion?
Yes, sir.
Colleagues, given this council's history with fuel sales and seeing the community out there in large numbers, and not allow anybody the time to speak, I think it would be fair to maybe limit it to 10 minutes each side, mainly because I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. I don't know that we want to sit here for 30, 40 minutes, have the same thing repeated. So if we could get 10 minutes and get a few representatives to represent where the community is at on this, I think that would be suffice. I'm not trying to stop anybody's desire to want to speak, but if the purpose is to lobby the council, we're human beings like you are too. After about 15 minutes, eyes start going glazed over and people stop actually listening. And I want to make sure that your words are heard. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Councilman Carlisle. DPD, if you give a brief overview of the case, and then, colleagues, I'll just let you know that 100% of these cards are opposed. So I'm going to let the representative go, and then opposition, I'm going to call on several of you, but if we continue with the same theme over and over again, I don't think that we need to necessarily hear it all.
I can wait, but I want to come in.
Go ahead, DPD.
Good afternoon, Nicholas Warder, Division of Planning and Development. This is basically the same presentation I gave 2 weeks ago in committee, so I'm going to keep it quick.
Yeah, the abridged version.
This is a request for a special use permit at a convenience store with gas sales located at 3745 Outland Road. Here's a location map and a vicinity map. This site is zone CMU1, and you can see around it, we have largely commercial, residential, urban, and residential single-family districts, and the land use aligns with that. Here's some site photos. So the important thing to be aware of with this one is that they are proposing to reuse that existing structure and then put a canopy with, gas pumps in front of that. So here's our concept plan, which shows that. Staff determined that this request is consistent with Memphis 3.0. So in conclusion, this subject property, which is most recently a laundromat, they're planning an adaptive reuse of that, which would place the fuel canopy in front of the existing building. We find that the various land uses and zoning districts around the site lend it to be appropriate for the proposed use, and the future land use designation for the site is industrial flex, making it consistent with Memphis 3.0. So we are recommending approval with these 7 conditions you see in front of you, and I'm available for questions.
Councilwoman Walker, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm going to yield on the wisdom of my colleagues for this one. So there was a meeting held at Parkway Village Library last week whereby representatives from the development, the Bray firm, were supposed to make a presentation to the community about the project. And the meeting was hijacked by opposition, and the opposition was led by a business owner
of a competing business in the area. If I had to do it over again, security got involved, but if I had to do it over again, we should have called the police. I was threatened, I was bullied, it was a hostile environment. We lost control, they lost control of the room, and they were not allowed to do the presentation. They started, and then it was a phone call, and they put the person on speaker, and the person said that they had an agenda for the meeting, and they wanted to start with prayer. And I said, and they wanted to listen. I said, you can listen, but this is not your meeting. At some point, they arrived with the owner of the opposing business, and my statement to them was, as an elected official, I represent the residents as well as the business owners. They all are my constituents. And this business owner had every right to reach out to me and express that this is a competing business. I may lose business. If I lose business, I may have to lay off people. Those are legitimate concerns that I respect. But to be in an environment where I was threatened and bullied and threatened with a lawsuit, all because I was trying to be fair and objective, and they are definitely in the majority today, but I will have to abstain or take the side of the developer. I have viewed the opposing business that was litter and trash on the property. And if you all want to uphold and support that over something new that's going to address blight, because it's a vacant property, it's blighted property. And I know we go back and forth with these types of developments. We have done this today already. But they're addressing blight. They say they're going to do EV chargers, fresh produce, and solar panels. The opposing business has a lot of people here who don't even live in the area. Their property has trash, debris. I was in the property at 8:15 on a weekday morning. They serve breakfast, and you can't make people eat a certain thing or not eat something, but I was saddened to see meatloaf and chicken and things like that served at 8:15, and this pattern of people coming into certain communities selling what you view that you don't eat, things you don't even eat yourself, things that you view as filth, and just coming into the community. And just tell the truth, it's not about what this project is or is not. You just don't want the competition. That's all I got out of this. But to be threatened and bullied, and you all hijacked the meeting couldn't continue, people were talking out of turn, people refused to be quiet, and that is not acceptable. And I just needed to share that, and I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Walker. I'm sorry you had to endure that. That's ridiculous. Councilman Carlisle, you're recognized.
Thank you. I guess really quickly, just to confirm a couple facts. And Councilwoman Walker, I too agree that there's no place for that, especially in those meetings when you're trying to facilitate a productive conversation between the business community and the community at large. I'm sorry that you had to endure that. It's unfortunate that that's where we've come, and I understand that emotions get the best of people because you feel like you're fighting for what's in the best interest for you and your family or you and your business. So I can understand it, but there's no place for it. To the site itself, I've always struggled with what Councilwoman Walker just raised, which is you have an available site that has, wants to be a use. The issue that I've run into with gas stations in my experience across the country in the 20 years I've been doing this is that even in different neighborhoods with different property values and different flows of traffic and different retail corridors, right, different economic drivers, when you take a piece of property like this, of this size, and you stick gas tanks in the ground, that's it. That's so. I guess I'm curious how, and maybe this is a conversation maybe for offline for a longer day, and then maybe a more public conversation. But how we don't take into effect Memphis 3.0 and the impact of some environmental concern, meaning typically we talk about land use as at grade or air rights, but we never really talk about, does it fit into the larger environmental scale of things? Another really good case is Summer and National. The landowner was able to convince the Board of Adjustment to preserve his rights, solely to preserve his rights, because the council was going forward on a moratorium for gas stations. Here's why. Every single time those tanks go in the ground, they are there forever, and whoever goes to acquire the property once that gas station is shut down has to take the tanks out of the ground, which I can tell you at a minimum is anywhere between $300,000 and $600,000 in any jurisdiction in the country, if not more. And so when you look at the price of real estate in Memphis, especially around the city where it's not just Poplar and Perkins or Poplar and Ridgeway, I'd be willing to bet you once the tanks go in the ground on this property, if it were to ever cease to exist as a gas station and the tanks weren't removed by the owner at that time, it'll never be developed as anything else again if it's ever even reopened. And we have sites today that have experienced that exact same issue. And so this is the juxtaposition, because the other argument is well, I'm going to stand up, clean up the site, activate it, and I'm going to generate sales tax dollars, gasoline tax, fuel tax sales, and jobs, right? You can hire 3 to 4 to 5 people. So I get the rub, but for me, in my background, I look at real estate over a lot longer period of time. And what could negatively happen to that piece of property once the tanks go in the ground far outweigh any near-term benefit to the neighborhood as far as I'm concerned. But I do want to state for the record that I respect the councilwoman for District 3. I understand that she was there and is more intimate with that. But I just have to look at it from a standpoint of we've had several cases that have been incredibly disappointing because they ended up not being able to be redeveloped in the city because they were former fuel sales sites. And because of the value of removing them, the property wasn't worth the investment as anything other than another gas station. And so that's always something that is a problem for me. I went on a little longer, but that's kind of where I'm sitting. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Warren, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, as we look at that issue Councilman Carlisle just brought up, is there some way we could have people put a bond up every time they put in tanks for a service station that would be present and mature in time to remove those tanks? Is that legislation that maybe not in this case, but as we move forward, might be something that we could pursue if possible for our city jurisdiction? So I throw that out for council members to think about and for our legal team to bring us back suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Warren, we're back in your hands. Fort Canale, I'm sorry, Fort Canale.
That's all right. All right, I would like to hear from the applicant. And Madam Comptroller, if you'd put 10 minutes on the clock for them, and then I'm going to go through a list of these cards, and we'll put 10 minutes on the clock for them, and then we'll go back to questions from colleagues. Mr. Bray.
Thank you.
Hold on one second. If you start with your name and address, and after you say that, we'll put the clock up.
I'm not going to use all my 10 minutes.
Well, you're free to reserve the...
Thank you. David Bray with the Bray Firm, 2950 Stage Plaza North. I appreciate Councilwoman Walker addressing that neighborhood meeting. As you guys know, you see me quite often. I've been to a number of these meetings, and that was quite possibly the worst one that I've ever been to. So I appreciate her being there. I'm sorry that it did get out of control. It was not a fun meeting. And I think she summarized pretty well what the objections of the opposition were. I just want to make the point that the DPD staff recommended approval of this. It is in compliance with 3.0. Land Use Control Board voted this project in. Yes, it's a difficult site. There's an existing building on it. There's not a lot of options for what could be done with it. the applicant and the owner are trying to utilize the existing building and come up with something that is a positive for the area and a positive for the tax base. To address your concerns, and I don't get into the TDEC permitting on the tanks, I don't know if there is a bond that is in place with TDEC now, but I believe there is a better tracking system than there used to be. It used to be that I had it under an ownership and I got a permit and I could transfer it to you and things got done, and TDEC could not figure out who to chase down to get that tank out of the ground. That's a different process now, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. But I do believe that they do have some enforcement procedures that they can go after now to get that. So I think there's fewer and fewer of those incidents happening. But I don't have all of the answers for you. We'll make the point that Councilwoman Walker made in discussions with this board, in discussions with DPD, and in an effort to address council concerns. We will have the EV chargers, we will have the solar panels on the roof, and we will have fresh fruit, all as a part of this store, which is a little different than most of them. From there, I will. Do you have anything to add? Or do you? Okay. From there, I'll reserve the rest of my time.
All right.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bray. Madam Comptroller, if you would please reserve 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Is the applicant here?
He is.
So, colleagues, just if you have any questions for him at the end, I'm going to go to the opposition now and hear from them. But if you have any questions on behalf of the applicant, not just the applicant's representative, you can certainly ask questions of him. We're going to go to the opposition. Bobby Coleman. Bobby Coleman's not here. Okay. Tammy Carter. Tammy Carter's not here. Okay. After Tammy Carter, we're going to have Jason Williams. And then we're going to have Victor Hernandez. Isabella Francisco. So if you all would, and please be mindful of your time. After you say your name and address, you will begin, and you'll have 10 minutes collectively.
My name is Tammy Carter. My address is 4900 Cromwell Avenue. And I just became a board member of this, so I don't just too much approve of a gas station being by there.
Does that conclude your comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason Williams. Thank you, Ms. Carter.
Excuse me. May I just take a little point?
No, ma'am. I didn't call your name. Jason Williams. Isabella Francisco. Victor Hernandez. Lilia Maria Hernandez. Justin Holloway. Yvonne Davis. Curtis Taylor. Joyce McCouch. Please stand up if you hear your name called. Make your way to the microphone. Trey Banks. Sylvia Burks. Yasser Saleh. Yes, ma'am. Name and address for the record, and you may begin.
Hello, how y'all doing? My name is Sylvia Burst. I'm resident at 3091 Domont Street, Memphis, Tennessee, 38118. I'm representing the Cromwell business owners and our residents. Sutton is not here, but she did meet with us on July the 12th, 2024. And I just want to talk about the violence. We have a whole lot of violence over there. We're voting no for a gas station because we had so many proposals from our residents that we want a laundromat. None of our residents have a laundromat. They have to walk to wash clothes for their kids, to go to Cromwell, go to school, for them to have clean clothes. Drug dealers over there, where they're trying to put this gas station at 3745 Outland. It's terrible. And they put there, it's no street lights. Kids running across the street playing football, they can't play because it's a gas station. So guess what? They want to know what's in the gas station if it's put right there. Guess what? Violence of kids getting run over by a car, trying to get to the store, just trying to see what's in the store. Curiosity killed the cat. So I'm representing my neighborhood, and we're voting no. We want a laundromat. That's what we want. That's what we want. Y'all want us to vote, so we're voting no. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments. Oleus Knox Jr. Bridget, I think it says Bridget Lewis.
President of the Eastern Community Development Corporation. I've been living in this community approximately...
Hold on. Would you start over, please? I didn't hear you. Would you speak into the microphone, please?
My name is Oleus Knox Jr. My address is
Thank you, Mr. Knox.
88 Cromwell.
Thank you, sir.
Memphis, Tennessee, 38118.
Go ahead.
I've been living in this community approximately 27 years, and this intersection is one of the worst intersections that's in Memphis, Tennessee. Been several people, maybe 4 or 5 people have been killed there, and wrecks all the time. Maybe sometimes it's be 2 wrecks a day, and more or less it need a light there rather than a service station. Sometimes at night you think you're on Indianapolis speed hump, where you be cars running speed, and so it's just dangerous. Kids walking in approximately, I would say, a block from the intersection is Cromwell Elementary School, and little children be walking through there. So it's just a dangerous, disastrous place there. I don't see that we needed a service station there. So I'm going to vote no for the...
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Marcio McCulley? No, I already gave her. Daryl Brooks? I think of Curtis Taylor. Did I already call Curtis? Joyce McCouch? Trey Banks? Jason Williams? Isabella Francisco, Bobby Coleman, Victor Hernandez, Saidu Fofana, Lilia Maria Hernandez, Yasser Saleh.
Good afternoon.
Name and address for the record, please, and you may begin.
My name is Yasser Saleh, and I live at 2138 Sunset Road, but I own a business at 4835 Winchester Road. I owned it since 1999. And I am a member of the Carmel East community. And I think Ms. Walker was referring to me as a business owner when I attended that meeting. And I would like to get this straight, and we have all these neighbors back there that witnessed this. What happened is that meeting, the developer representative was trying to bully the neighborhood's representative and kept shouting at her and asked her to sit down. And I kept telling her, have respect to this lady. If she's not comfortable sitting down, she can speak while she's standing up. And every time she's trying to talk, he kept telling her that you have 30 seconds, cut it off. And he kept interrupting her. And I said, this is not right. And he kept calling for some people they brought with them to speak. And I said, this is not right. You have a big crowd that are telling you, this lady represent them, and you kept interrupting her, you know? So, having said that, I would like to talk about the concerns I have. Yes, it's a competition as well, you know, that's true. But the same developer, by the way, which I know him, Mr. Roseman, he built 2 other gas stations the last 5-6 years within a mile from me, and we have a good relationship with him, and never seen me come in here and objected. It's not about competition only, it's about the location. So, I'm a resident of Memphis since 1989. But more importantly, I have been a business owner of this marathon located on this intersection of Winchester and Outland since 1999. And if anyone knows this neighborhood, I certainly do. I am here today to express my concerns over the prospective addition of yet another gas station in this area. The reasons are plenty, but they include economic issues, crime and safety, environmental, health concern for this location and for this community, among other public policy concerns regarding the non-compliance of the administrative procedures by the developer and elected city officer. As you may already be aware, this area has been plagued by crime and violence for several years. Currently, there are over 8 gas stations within a mile radius. And just in the last few years, 5 gas stations were built. 2 of them belong to this, the Mr. Roseman, the developer himself. With this in mind, I don't see the need or purpose for an additional gas station, and I will elaborate on each of these concerns. I also have several supporting documents that I highlighted, and I'm gonna pass it to you. With respect to the inadequate and unhealthy competition, I want to point out that several new stations and businesses were built in the last few years, as I mentioned, from this location. Of course, as a business owner whose business suffered tremendously in the last few years, I'm not only concerned about the competition only, but for the area to be able to observe another gas station without affecting the entire gas station business in that area, including this potential new location, which may result in a huge layoff of several employees belong to this neighborhoods and possibly shut down some of these gas stations. Number 2, crime rate and safety. This site was a scene for multiple crimes and shootings. Almost every month, there is something, and I'm sure you guys hear about it in the news. To save some time, I'm not gonna go through it, but you can search it yourself and Google it. And just from the last year till now, there were over 8 crime scenes there. There was one back in 2023, if you recall, when shooting and homicide in the parking lot of the marathon. In May 2024, May 3rd, 2024, there was a carjacking.
Madam Comptroller, will you please pause the time? I just want you to be aware that you have other people that want to speak, and you've only got 2 minutes, 29 seconds left. And that's for everybody.
Okay.
So if you want to wrap it up.
All right, let me skip that crime and all that, but environmental and increased cancer risk to residents. There is a daycare, and I believe the only one in this area, and just for a few feet from this used to be laundromat. There was a reported accident sometime last year where a child was run over by a car and killed. And now imagine having this gas station to be added next to this daycare. All right.
Thank you, sir, for your comments.
What?
You gonna let anybody else, if you take the rest of the time, they can't speak.
Okay, all righty. Thank you.
Dr. Lynette Williams.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Lynette Williams, and I'm the interim executive director of the East Memphis Community Development Corporation at 4888 Cromwell Avenue. And I know I don't have very much time to speak, But we did want to address the issue of the community health in that area. And we have several articles that we will share with the council as far as gas stations and their emissions and air pollution, as well as the fact that this project was rejected to have gas pumps by your staff. They mentioned it in their staff report that gas pumps should not be put at this location because it's a recharging zone for our aquifer. Memphis is on the Memphis Sands aquifer, and the recharging zones are important so we can have clean water in the city of Memphis. And before, city councils have had a moratorium on gas stations, and we want to see if you can redo that because of the number of gas stations. One of your past city council members, Martavius Jones, has an article, I guess, or news article, and he mentions the fact that we have more gas stations per capita than we need as far as that's concerned. And I agree with Councilman Carlisle, who mentioned as far as the gas tanks, that's an issue here in Memphis. We do have lead poisoning because as a result of these gas stations, and we want to make sure that we can definitely address this issue as a citywide issue as well. And we encourage you to make sure that you vote no on this issue and institute a new moratorium. And as far as the meeting is concerned, the community has lost faith.
Thank you, Dr. Williams.
Just 1 second, faith in their representative, and they would like her to resign and be recalled. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
We're sharing mics.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chair. My comment, I would like to make certain that, and I respect and thank my colleague, Councilwoman Walker, for her comments earlier, and, do regret as well that she had to endure that type of environment. But I did want to just say that it has been our position historically to support the people that actually live in the area. And you make certain that we're always people-centered, constituent-centered. And if you look at the map, if you could go back to the map, to the presentation that had the location and proximity to the residents, we would see that this area is across the street from a residential area on both sides, even though it's on the side of the street that is commercial, but on the opposite side of the street, it appears that it's residential. Is that correct? And so it's, my understanding and experience that is very dangerous. And so considering the fact that I know that we had said earlier that they were going to have fresh produce, what does that mean? Or that, I know one time last year or a couple of years ago, we asked the question, what percentage of the facility would be dedicated to fresh produce? Is it a basket on the counter? Is it a portion of the facility? Another time we talked about, a lot of times when they say fresh produce, it's a basket on the counter. Right. And then we talked about the electric charging station. Then do you look at what percentage of the area or community would utilize that service or would need that service? So there are a lot of things involved that, we may not take into consideration just hearing the opposition. So I just want to remind us that our position has always been, along with the single-member district, to be people-centered and to make certain that we're not just looking at the fact that it's an opportunity for tax base or taxes being on the road, because it's designed to be a convenience store, and the community says that they need laundromat or convenience store. So I just wanted to caution, just wanted to bring that to light, and there are some things that need to be considered other than the tax base.
Thank you, Councilwoman Logan. Councilwoman Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to postpone this item.
Without objection, the member from District 3 has agreed to try to host another, hopefully productive meeting with the community. So without objection, colleagues, we're going to hold this item for 3 weeks until the September 10th meeting.
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
To everybody that attended from the community, I appreciate you coming out. I know how hard it is to come down here. Just for what it's worth, please know that your presence won't be forgotten if you cannot come when this is heard next time. Please know that. Thank you for being here.
Madam Comptroller, that item will be held for 3 weeks.
Madam Controller, please call item number 5.
Item number 5 is a resolution pursuant to Chapter 9.6 of the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, approving a modification to a special use permit at the subject property located at 1925 Union Avenue. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is MJR 24-20, SUP 21-39.
And I meant to act, the majority of those people don't live in the neighborhood. And I'm okay with that, but the...
Call me.
Oh.
For Canale, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee met 2 weeks ago on this item, did not give it a recommendation, but with that, I would move it to the floor.
Thank you. I would like for this to be held until the September 24th meeting. We have had some concerns from the community. They have not had a chance to have a community meeting, and this would give them ample opportunity to send out notices and to have a meeting for the community. So I'm asking for this to be held to the September 24th meeting.
Any objection, colleagues? Councilman Carlisle, you're recognized.
You're so, it's a good thing that I like you so much. I'm not going to object to it, but I will say this. This case, maybe specifically and technically, has not been before this body, but this development and project has been hanging around for a while. And since it even went to market and we received the 3 proposals from the 3 different groups that were considered finalists from the city, the neighborhood specifically directly adjacent to the property has had an issue and concern about what the development was going to be, and specifically with the rear of the property that's in the Central Gardens historic, and then the uses. And I think everyone, myself included, was very comfortable when it was supposed to be a retail use because it creates the things that we wanted to see out of Union Avenue, right? We talk about all of the businesses up and down that used to be walkable, accessible, et cetera. And specifically to how we did their original application was so that we didn't sell a piece of property to get a 2-story or 3-story limited service hotel, and that was the only thing that was built. And in addition to that, we put the restriction on the drive-through, so they didn't build a drive-through to have zero basis, then to build a hotel, and all the city really got for it was the police station torn down, a limited service hotel, and a drive-through. So I will, because I like you and you're such a good colleague, I will respect those wishes, but for me, I'm not going to change my position unless some significant concession were to be made that would be something to, I mean, it would have to be, and I'll happily attend the neighborhood meeting, but it would have to be a significant concession to the neighborhood, like the townhomes are going to get built first before I would even consider something to that effect. it would have to be a significant trade. And here, and to the public, this is why I'm taking such a strong stance. This was a city-owned asset. If this were a privately owned deal from the beginning and they were trying to do, I would have a much different tone and tenor, but you don't get large pieces of property like this very often in dense neighborhoods like this. And so I feel like it's very important that we don't screw it up. And I'm not sure a hotel for me and a drive-through does it. So anyway, I'll be quiet because there's a motion. Motion needs a second, though.
Thank you, Councilman Carlisle. Councilman Warren, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm remembering this as being a development that had three parts. One part was a commercial part, the other part was a hotel, and the other part was townhomes, and they were all going to be developed at the same time, and we were going to be brought the plans for each, and we were going to be asked to approve groundbreaking for each, so we knew they would all be going at the same time. And now I think what we're seeing is we're seeing another fast food hamburger drive-in right up the road from Five Guys and, up the road from, I guess, Burger King and right next to Huey's. And we don't see a hotel and we don't see townhomes. Yesterday I was at the corner of McLean and Union at 2 o'clock, and I had to wait for two lights to go through because traffic was blocked up in the right lane for parents who were trying to line up to go pick up their kids at Idlewild School. Now, this is about halfway down the block, or halfway on the other side of the block from where this particular drive-through hamburger outlet would be. So I'm not sure that it's the best use of the property, and it's definitely not what we approved. So I think we need to put our thinking caps on and try to remember what this was supposed to be when it was brought to us to begin with. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Warren. Councilwoman Swearingen-Washington, you're recognized.
I'm going to withdraw my request to hold.
Okay, so noted. Councilman Carlisle, you back in the queue?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess let's proceed as we would normally.
Councilman Warren, you done? Okay. Why don't we do this? DPD, give us 30 seconds, and then I'll let the applicant speak. I do have one card on this item, and I'll let Mr. Alexander speak. After that, we'll go back to any questions if there are from the body. If not, we'll take it to a vote. DPD, it's yours.
Nicholas Forger, Planning and Development. I don't believe I'm going to be able to quite make this 30 seconds because we do have one change from the presentation 2 weeks ago. Of course, you all are, I'm assuming, familiar with this property. At 1925 Union Avenue, the former traffic precinct site. Here are some photos. This, for reference, is the reason why we're here. When this SUP was approved back in 2022, it contained a condition that said any drive-through has to come back before the council. I've added this to the presentation because Councilman Carlisle brought it up in committee 2 weeks ago. So this condition 10 is the condition he was speaking about. It would prevent the hotel from being occupied until retail or the townhomes were built. I want to make sure we're all aware that that is still a condition. Okay, so one thing I do, this is the change I was speaking about. So there's actually two issues before the council with this item. One is the drive-through use that everyone's aware of. The second is that that original SUP, which approved the hotel, has expired and needs a time extension. So we're requesting that two individual votes be held on those two issues, just so we're all clear. If no time extension is granted, the hotel would no longer be permitted. They would need a whole new SUP. The drive-through use would become by right, technically, but it would have to comply with the designated frontage standards, which is very practically difficult for a hotel use, for a drive-through use to say the least. And the Land Use Control Board have authority to grant a special exception from those designated frontage standards. So all that being said, we are recommending approval of the time extension, although we're recommending rejection of the drive-through itself. So I want to be 100% clear on that.
And point of order, Mr. Chair, or point of information, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
And the resolution before the body recognizes those two asks, the actual resoluting document.
Yes, the resolution before you says, if you approve the resolution as written, it will grant both. It will grant both the.
So again, this is why we're having this discussion. So everybody pay attention. Everybody listen up. So in order to move forward, we have a few options, but basically the options for the House are approve it as is, which is a proposed drive-through use is approved, and the time extension on the hotel is approved. Or the document could be amended to delete either one or both, or just voted down outright. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. I will say that the SUP is expired, so practically there wouldn't be a lot of point to approving the drive-through without the time extension.
Well, I'll stay within my lane here and make a comment after. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Carlisle. Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm sort of confused at exactly what it is that staff is recommending at this point. So we've got two issues here. One is that the entire special use permit is just going to expire. Is that correct?
It has expired.
It has expired?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially they don't have a special use permit. They can't do anything on this property without bringing us another proposal?
So they could not, so if they wanted to pull permits for that hotel tomorrow, they could not do it without a time extension.
And if they wanted to open the drive-through tomorrow?
It would be a by right use if this SUP expires.
So it is by right they can open up on that property, they can open up a drive-through restaurant by right.
So there are designated frontage standards that apply to Union Avenue that say, a large portion of the property has to have a building right up against the street. So technically, yes, a drive-through use is allowed. Practically speaking, it's very difficult to build a drive-through that meets those standards.
So I guess my question was, when we did this initial deal and they got the possession of this property, part of it was because they had agreed to do the hotel, the townhouses, and a building and bring a drive-through back for us to look at. And what you're saying is that initial deal that allowed them to purchase the property is null and void at this point?
I'm going to try to step in and clarify. John Zena, Planning and Development. The approval that we are speaking of is the special use permit approval for the hotel. That is what started the process that led us to where we are on this. DPD has nothing to do with the sales transaction between the city and the property owner. So let's put that aside. When the developer came before you for approval for a special use permit for a hotel, which is required in this district, if you recall, this was shortly after the developer had made the proposal to purchase the property from the city. And as some of you have noted, in the original proposal, the idea was that there would be a hotel, there would be townhouses, and there would be a multi-tenant commercial building. So as a result of that special use permit application that came before the council 2 years ago, there was a condition put into it by the council that no drive-through facility could be done without this special use permit coming back to you. So that's why they're here. But Mr. Wardrop is correct that the special use permit approval lasts for 2 years. And so we are now past that 2-year mark. Now, the Unified Development Code does allow anyone with a special use permit to seek a time extension, and oftentimes those time extensions are sought after the deadline. This is not anything abnormal. But the matter in front of you is there's a special use permit that's modification that's being requested, and it's being requested for two things. It's being requested for a time extension for their hotel, and it's being requested for that drive-through restaurant that otherwise would be allowed because this is CMU3 zoning.
Yes.
The only reason we're able to catch the drive-through restaurant is because it's associated with that special use permit for the hotel. Am I making things any clearer? Okay, good. All right, so you have a resolution that's before you, and in this resolution, there are essentially two things that are happening. Number one, be it resolved, the Council of the City of Memphis hereby modify to permit a drive-through restaurant at the subject property. And then the second, that the expiration date for the SUP hereby be extended. So you can do as Mr. Wardrop was suggesting and bifurcate into two resolutions, or you could do as Councilman Carlisle suggested and say we'd like to amend the resolution to strike the approval of the drive-through restaurant, leaving only the approval of the extension of the SUP.
And by doing that, the result would be they could build the drive-through restaurant by right.
No, because the condition would still be attached to the extended special use permit for the hotel that a drive-through restaurant would have to come back to you for approval.
Thank you.
One more thing, if you vote this whole thing down, though, a drive-through restaurant is allowed in the CMU3 district by right. That is what this property is zoned. The frontage requirements would still be imposed because this is in the Midtown overlay, and the Union Avenue is a special frontage in the Midtown overlay. Both ways.
All right. Councilman Warren, you good? Councilman Carlisle. Yes.
That would give me 45 minutes to write a resolution, put a moratorium on drive-throughs in between McLean and Cooper for the next 6 months and have it done with same night minutes in this meeting. So I can remedy that situation immediately. So let's get back to it. In fairness to the applicant, they brought a plan towards the city. The city selected that plan. We've had this, Rhonda's had it in her district once. We've had one other situation. And my issue with this, and where I've tried to help we've each brought different expertise to the council. Mine's probably gotten me more in trouble with the people that I have to run into all the time when I'm not here, because they're not always happy with the advice that I give because it doesn't help them. But here's the deal. They did make a proposal. They had the highest offer, and they should have the right to develop the property within the purview of our UDC. My issue is that oftentimes people will come forward with a comprehensive development plan, and it's got multiple uses on it, and it looks amazing. In reality, the body will approve that plan, and several times only one or two things will get built, and it's not the thing that got you most excited about the project. So you could go and ask yourself, would the Strickland administration have awarded the deal if they had known that this was just going to come back and maybe just be a drive-through? Or would they have wanted apartments in a hotel like one group or apartments like another group had asked for? Would the neighborhood have preferred the other one? I would tell you that I would have happily sold the property at even more of a discount if it would have built a better use that would have fit into the neighborhood than the neighborhood would have gotten excited about, which was the point that I made when this came 2 years ago. So I'll bring it all the way back home. I don't think it's reasonable nor fair to deprive the owner of rights that they've had for 2 years and probably have pursued and have pursuit cost in and take those away. So I'm fully supportive of allowing them the opportunity to extend that time. I can potentially get on board with delaying the case and I'm happy to hear, I see Mr. Alexander here, I'm happy to hear for the neighborhood. I don't know what they would have to trade for the neighborhood that would get the neighborhood excited about the drive-through, but I'm sure there might be something. But my point is I'm happy to support preserving the rights on the hotel. But today, I said exactly what I said 2 years ago. I don't know that this is the direction the city would have gone and awarded the deal based on it, which is why we put these provisions in place. And for me, that philosophy has not changed, other than to acknowledge that the marketplace as far as expenses and interest rates have changed. But that doesn't mean that I want to put one more drive-through restaurant on that block or a series of blocks in that neighborhood. I just do not think that that is the highest and best use of 3.6 acres on Union Avenue. I think that's insane, but that's just me. And so with that being said, are we going to make motions, or do you want to keep moving?
I want to hear from who's going to speak on behalf of EP3, and then I'm going to let Mr. Alexander and Mr. Bradfield speak, and then if you want to go back and make amendments or have more questions from the council before we take it to a vote. Who's speaking on behalf of the developer? If you'd go to the podium, please, give us your name and address.
Lindsay Heron, 6750 Poplar Avenue.
You may proceed.
So good afternoon. Thank you for your time. So I plan to address two different facets of the development as we go through the overall development and then the actual Waterburger site, which is before you. So first, a brief overview of the development. The overall development is 3.66 acres. It was sold by the city of Memphis to the developer through a competitive RFP process, as Mr. Carlisle stated. The 5-story hotel is 2 acres. The Waterburger is 1.06, and the townhomes along Linden take the remainder. The overall development received a special use permit, as stated, during the land use control board process, which required us to come back for a drive-through use. The developer met with the neighbors and the school during the special use permit process for the hotel. Once they brought Waterburger into the mix, Waterburger met with the school and has coordinated partnership as they desire to invest in the community and not simply just build a restaurant. For development progress, there will be 3 phases. There's a condition to the hotel SUP that no certificate of occupancy for the hotel property can be issued until a building permit for either the commercial property or the townhomes has been issued. Phase 1 is the townhomes. Construction is estimated to begin in October. They've received landmarks approval and utilities are being finalized right now. Phase 2 is the Waterburger. Construction will begin as soon as we can get through the required departments, both planning and engineering and building. Phase 3 would be the hotel. Construction would begin immediately following phase 1 and 2 and would approximately be 18 to 24 months. In addition, this development will contribute to the Liberty Park TDZ and is projected to provide approximately $1.1 million in economic impact per year from the hotel and sales tax revenues for the first 10 years of the project. Now I'll move to the Waterburger. So I'll start with the opposition that was included in the staff report, and then I'll move to addressing the staff comments. So out of 1 letter of inquiry and 27 letters of opposition, 20 referenced existing traffic issues. I will note that the existing traffic issues are related to the nature of the commercial corridor on Union, and several noted the existing conditions due to the Idlewild school traffic drop-off and pickup, which wraps around from the school onto Union Avenue. I also believe someone provided pictures of that in their opposition letter. While the existing condition is unfortunate and worth noting, it is not caused by the development, but would rather be considered a hardship to overcome. In order to do that, Waterburger has allocated 2 drive-through lanes to provide 21 queuing spots in the drive-through and has provided circulation and shared access with the adjacent hotel to maintain traffic on site and not in the Union right-of-way. For context, there are 5 fast food restaurants between McLean and Cooper, all that provide an average of 34 parking spaces on site within the properties and about 18 cars of queuing from the pickup window to the actual traffic lanes of Union right-of-way. Waterburger is providing 45 parking spaces on site and about 39 cars from pickup window to the Union Avenue right-of-way. In addition, peak queuing times for Waterburger do not overlap the timing of the school pickup and drop-off. Kimley Horn performed site visits to the existing Waterburger on Germantown Parkway between 7 and 8 a.m. and concluded that a maximum of 3 cars queued. The other peak time for Waterburger is between 12 and 2, and a maximum of 13 cars queue in the driveway. And again, Waterburger provides 21 spaces actually in the driveway, or in the drive-through lanes. Regarding concerns of the development abutting the elementary school, Waterburger has collaborated with school leadership and is proposing to install a 6-foot screening fence along with 5 large magnolia trees on the southern property line. They have also provided sound buffering to direct the sound of the order speaker towards the Waterburger site and curb noise reverberating to the school. Regarding staff's noting of the use, staff notes in their report, and they state that this use is not consistent with future land use description or intent, form and location characteristics, and adjacent land use, but it is consistent with the existing zoning, as Mr. Zena stated earlier. The existing site is zoned commercial along with the rest of the Union Corridor and is bounded by commercial and institutional uses. The drive-through is a use by right in the existing zoning, and the site is located within the anchor neighborhood areas within the Comp Plan 3.0, which does allow commercial buildings. The character of the corridor is consistently commercial. Regarding the BRT conflict, at this point, the proposed BRT plans do not have a stop proposed along the southern side of Union Avenue between McLean and Rembert, and the curb and gutter will remain in the same location with modified sidewalks. Regarding the walkability, I will refer to the screen, or won't refer to the screen at this point, but for the original concept. So we went through 3 iterations between Waterburger, planning staff, and what is proposed in this application. We moved from 5 required special exceptions for the original development site plan down to 1 regarding frontage, which, like several of the planners said, it gets a little difficult to meet frontage requirements when you're talking about a drive-through use. And to conclude, the development is a use by right. It's along a commercially characterized corridor, and we believe it minimizes traffic concerns as best as possible, as well as incorporating the urban, walkable, pedestrian-scaled intent of the UDC, of the overlay, and the comp plan. We think the site will transition from the Union Corridor traditionally to the actual desired comp plan. And at this point, we're happy to answer questions. Sean has a couple of comments.
Thank you for those comments. Could you restate your name? I'm sorry, we've had a hard time with the microphone.
Lindsay Heron.
Lindsay
Heron.
Heron.
Hearon.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sean Massey, 205 Redbird Lane. On behalf of the developer, our intent when we bought this as an RFP was to build a 5-story urban style hotel, which we are proposed. We are going to start construction on 20 townhomes, 10 buildings that start at 650,000 apiece to try to meet our mayor's intent to bring high-end residential. Those will start first. The reason we are starting first on the townhomes and the Waterburger is because the council had asked us, hey, we don't want to give a use and occupancy permit, so we're going to use the hotel area to stage both the retail point and the townhomes, and then we can come and build a hotel. We want to build a hotel. We want to deliver exactly what we gave in the RFP. At that time, when I made that presentation, I did not know what the retail was going to be at this point. I'm a retail guy. Councilman Carlisle knows that. There was going to be a retail use. We were approached by a wonderful company, Waterburger, out of Texas, who's developed all over Memphis, from Raleigh to everywhere else. We want to bring those to Union Avenue. But again, as the developer, we want to bring a hotel that's brought to the curb that meets that requirement of Memphis 3.0. That's going to be a great name hotel. You were provided a sheet, all of you, that was prepared by myself and the Phelps firm, talking about our timeline. We are not deviating from our plan. The only thing is the retail was an 8,000 square foot retail building that's now a 3,000 square foot retail building that Waterburger, who would like to put $5 or $6 million investment in our city when we have restaurants leaving, okay, that's just a fact. We need people to invest in this. I think, and I'm a retail guy and I might be biased, but I think a drive-through restaurant designed with the drive-through and back, a lot of parking, Union Avenue is the best place in Midtown to service the Midtown customer, okay? It's not Madison Avenue, it's not Cooper Young. I know some people I would respect to disagree, but we're trying to do and build Memphis. But I assure you, from when we bought this property, our plan has not changed. It's never been a 2-story limited service hotel. It's always been, if you go back to a 5-story urban-style hotel, name brand. We went with a limited service hotel because we didn't want to compete with the Memphis that has a full-time restaurant. But we wanted to provide those rooms that are needed in our town. We don't build a hotel just because we want to build it. We build it because we have need and we have a market study done on that part. And then there's also the benefit. This is in the tourist development zone for Liberty Park. Okay, 100%. This is one of the greatest things to happen for our. We have ability to take 100% of the sales tax revenue for the hotel in Waterburger and apply it to the debt at Liberty Park. And that's extra benefit here, plus the property. But we are going to deliver, I'm telling you, and I know a lot of you, and I deal with a lot of you in your communities. I always deliver, and I will deliver that hotel the way it was on the RFP, the townhomes, which would be nice high-end townhomes. We worked with the neighborhood to close off Linden, the back entrance, to reduce the traffic. We're putting speed bumps in there. Yes, you have an incredibly successful Chick-fil-A restaurant that is doing great for your community. It brings a lot of traffic. You have a school that has children they line up on the traffic. I understand that, and I know it's not great for the neighborhood. But, and those of you in the fast food business on the council, on this thing, yes, Councilman Carlisle, this location is not a highway location bringing people off the interstate and bringing new people. This is there to service the Midtown community. It's not going to increase traffic. It will take, now they can go to Chick-fil-A one day, the Cookhouse another day, and then go to Waterburger one day. It's a good thing. I think it's a great thing. I hope you will support, one, the extension of the hotel, because that's the number one reason we bought this site, and it's a 5-story urban-style hotel. And I hope that you can see that we would love to have Waterburger investing in our community and giving back. Thank you. And if there are any questions, you can call me.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. Mr. Alexander.
Gordon Alexander, 179 South Rembrandt Street. I have worked on my speech here, but I'd like to say, first of all, when Mr. Massey says we've not deviated from our original plan, that's just not true. Cameron Taylor contacted me several years ago and asked for our help and support for his project. A site plan included a hotel, condos, and a restaurant. A restaurant. However, when we agreed to those conditions and we got 2 concessions from him, we supported him at Land Use Control Board and City Council. However, about a year or so ago, Mr. Taylor came back with a different plan. Now it included a 24-hour Waterburger. My neighborhood is directly south of the Chick-fil-A on Union Avenue, and we have to put up with the traffic from Chick-fil-A and every other fast food place on Union Avenue. And also the Chick-fil-A traffic getting into Chick-fil-A can back up, and I can't even turn down my street because it's completely blocked. And of course, the Idlewild school traffic, the school is on Linden, it goes down Linden, it goes down Rembrandt, and it is in the right lane of Union all the way up to the Walgreens. And I have these visions of all the Waterburger people going egress and access, trying to get through that solid wall of traffic. That ought to be something to see. And I'd like to just read the staff report. I'll give you the project will have a substantial or undue adverse effect upon adjacent property, the character of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, parking, utility facilities, and other matters affecting the public, health, safety, and general welfare. They also mentioned the Idlewild School, but I'm running out of time. Just take into account, if you vote down the Waterburger now, it's not going to stop the project. The project will go ahead, and we want the project to go ahead. But we don't need another fast food hamburger place in our neighborhood because the traffic is tremendous right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Mr. Bradfield.
Jerry Bradfield, excuse me, 172 South Remembrance Street, Memphis 38104. My family and I have lived in the same house. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I got these a couple of weeks ago, trying to get used to them. For 109 years, 1/2 block from the proposed Waterburger. In addition, I've owned a house across the street for 44 years where my great niece and now my great niece live, so I have a vested interest in the neighborhood. My sister attended Hutchinson School on the proposed site for 13 years. I attended Idlewild School adjacent to the property in question, and my mother taught there for many years. Twice every weekday, the traffic to Idlewild School snakes down Union from beyond Barksdale, blocking entrances and making it very difficult to traverse our street, certainly the south side of Union Avenue. There are children crossing Union at school times. The crossing guard not only has the safety of the children at hand, but also the cars turning into our street, which we're a cut-through street, has a lot of traffic and speeding cars. I've seen many changes to our area over the past 80 years, but the transformation of Union Avenue, originally a residential street, into a fast food strip has been the most disheartening. In fact, between Cleveland on the west and Florence on the east, there are about 20 food outlets in one of the busiest streets in Memphis. Over 70% of them have drive-throughs. They include 2 Starbucks, Tequila Mexican, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Cookout, 7 Brew Coffee, KFC, Captain D's, Flame Ramen, Midtown Donuts, Panero's, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle's, Burger King, Five Guys, McDonald's, and Little Caesars. The last thing that Union Avenue needs is another drive-through. We appreciated the conclusion, I've got 6 seconds, of Land Control Use Board to deny this application. We hope you will follow their recommendation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bradfield. Dr. Warren, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was hoping perhaps we might be able to hear from Councilman Carlisle before I spoke, so let me get out of the queue until then.
All right, I'm going to go to Councilwoman Logan, and then I'll come back.
Okay.
We got a shortage of microphones that work.
I had to step out, but so you may have dealt with this already. It appears that the community feels that the project changed over a period of time, and they are still in favor of the development and would like the development, just not the selection of the restaurant that was chosen. Is that correct?
I would say that was accurate.
Okay. But and I would like to hear from the developer, because I am familiar with the developer, and normally they do what they say. So I would like to know, if you don't have the Waterburger, does that kill the development?
It does not kill the development. The reason we chose this development in this area has always been to build a hotel. We had to build a residential because it was zoned on the back, and that is still what we're going to first phase. We're going to build. It does not kill the development.
Okay.
I do think there's a direct benefit because of the TDZ and everything, and that Union Avenue, if you're going to put fast food, is the best place in Midtown to do it, but that's an opinion.
Normally, as a body, we support the community and what they're looking for as well, and lean into the single district and super district members for that insight. And it appears from all those sources that everyone feels great about the development now that you clarify that it's 5 stories brand and it's still true to what the original plan was. But no one seems to, in that series of input, seems to want the Waterburgers. So
Can I clarify? They don't want the drive-through. It's not as much.
is it just the drive-through, or is it just the brand Waterburger fast food?
I think it's just the drive-through.
Huh?
It's a good brand.
It's a good brand, okay.
It's a good brand, it's just the drive-through.
Just the drive-through. And they don't have a Waterburger without a drive-through, do they?
They do not.
Okay,
And we've made a lot of consideration.
I'm just asking because there may be something in another
We've put the
city.
drive-through behind the building. We've put all the queuing behind the building. We've moved the building up on an urban scale. I've seen a lot of upscale communities around the country that deal with the same thing. People on the street don't want to see the thing. People walking down Union, we have 75% transparency where the people can come off and walk in without crossing traffic. All the drive-through and the parking are behind the building to meet Memphis 3.0 criteria.
And I don't think it's just the traffic. I think it's just the fact, and I'm hearing them say they just don't want another drive-through. They want a restaurant that you can sit down in. And if, in fact, and I see them nodding their heads. So I think I respect you and the work that you do, but I don't know if you're hearing them say that and we're listening to them say they don't want to drive through. So if there's a way that the project can move forward with another, with a restaurant, then that's a win-win for everybody.
It's the market will determine whether a restaurant goes. We are moving forward if you grant us our extension on the hotel. Okay, so there's two things before you. One, I hope you address the SUP because we are going to start moving forward with the houses and the hotel. It's just we don't know what's going to be on the retail piece. It could be a bank. It could be a restaurant. Right now, casual dining restaurants are not expanding. I mean, Councilman Carlisle, they're just not there. The restaurant, the people wanting to invest right now are the ones with drive-throughs. COVID changed the world the way we live. And soccer moms and everybody coming through are coming through. I hope you would consider all the concessions that the designers work with planning department to make it more queuing, everything behind. But if you kill Waterburger, it does not kill the development. We are planning to move forward, and I hope you would, on a separate vote, would approve to move the SUP forward.
Great. I'm glad to hear that it won't kill the deal, but and you all can move forward with that part. Everybody can agree on that part.
I think Waterburger will bring a lot of money to your TDC.
Thank you for that clarity. I yield back, Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Logan. Councilman Carlisle, and then I'm going to come back to you, Councilman Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'll say a couple things. I mean, I don't need to spend, if Waterburger reps are here, they'll be able to speak their business better than I can, but there's no way it costs $5 million to build a Waterburger. That is impossible. That's impossible. Your model wouldn't work. You would be, I think the average unit volume of a Chick-fil-A is $4.5 million now, 4.7 million. Wendy's is 1.7 million. If I had to spend $5 million to build a Waterburger, I'd need to do $7-8 million in volume. I don't think you guys are going to do that. But here's the thing. And I will say this, just for my colleagues, when somebody brings you a total retail and hotel sales tax, when it comes to TDZs and things like that, just throw it away. It's no disrespect, but it's so much more complicated. Like, for instance, you can't put 9.75% sales tax revenue as part of the TDZ because 50 basis points immediately has to go into the Fund 245 as a part of the sales tax referendum that people passed in 2019, so that calcs out. Then the way the TDZ works is it's not a straight rebate dollar for dollar. They've got to take how much we did in the county from the base year and then how much the TDZ increased, and then you get a portion of that back. So all that being said, please stop doing that. It just rubs me the wrong way when people bring those economic impact studies with with zero metrics on how you did it. The vocab word is leaving me right now, but basically your process, your methodology, that's the word I'm looking for. So here's the deal. I think I've said this. I think the council will be supportive of preserving the rights under the SUP. I think that is right and fair. I will do one of two things. I'll either amend it today or I will consider holding it, this item, till September 10th, and I will meaningfully engage with you guys to see if there is any way or any other opportunity that the community might get comfortable with the use. Because for me, if I can get the hotel built and the townhomes built, I can compromise. Now, I know that probably may upset a lot of people, but in reality, that's a good thing, right? I think it is accretive to the neighborhood to get the townhomes built. I think it is accretive to the neighborhood to get, I'll say, a flagged select service hotel at 5 stories. I wish you guys had competed with the Memphian. I think that comment to me is kind of upsets me a little bit because it's the best performing hotel in the marketplace, and it demonstrates that there's much more need for hotels like that. People that want to show up and go out at Playhouse on the Square or spend money in Cooper Young are looking to stay in places like the Memphian. So why not? There's only one of them in Midtown. Why not build more? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move to hold this item till September 10th, and I will meet with the development team and Mr. Alexander, if you or anybody that would like to represent the neighborhood, I'm happy to do that. And here's the deal. I appreciate all the things you've done on the urban design plan. Here's the real concern. If you do the volumes that you think you're going to do, I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, I live by Poplar and Mendenhall, and I drive out to see my in-laws out in Germantown, and I pass through both Chick-fil-A's. And like the fact that we as a municipality don't require them to, now that we know that they're going to stack up on a public road every single day at 3 different times of the day for an hour and a half each time period, that they're not required to have MPD or somebody out there from a safety standpoint is insane, especially in the right lane on Poplar, which is like, tell me you're from Memphis without telling me you're from Memphis. Right lane of Poplar? Yep, got it. It's like the most dangerous place in the country. So you know if you've driven on it. It's a tight lane yeah. So here's the deal. He's not wrong. Like, that's a legitimate concern. Like, too much traffic is a problem at certain times. So those are some of the bigger concerns that I have. And again, when you've got a school that has its stacking issues at the same time that day parts can run high on a 24-hour restaurant, like, that's another thing. Like, it's a 24-hour restaurant. Like, we haven't talked about that. So I'm willing to engage in a meaningful discussion, which I normally try not to. And that's not because, it's one, because I don't want there to be a perceived conflict because of my family's business and in the city and out of the city. And 2, I don't want to weigh in to the point where it feels like there's prejudice on the development. Now, that being said, we're to a point where this deal either needs to move forward or not. And I know this like anybody else, a long maybe is worse than a quick no sometimes, especially if you're in the Waterburger and you're looking at alternative sites, and both for the developer who's underwriting the deal for their bank. So with that being said, I will move this to be held till the 10th, and I will have a meaningful dialogue as long as you guys want to have it over the next couple weeks. And then we'll return to the council and we'll see where the chips fall. And I hope I can get a second in support on that. And to Mr. Alexander, I hope you guys understand that I hear you loud and clear as well. Right. Got my guy.
I think what'd you say? Okay, without objection, I think we're going to hold it. But
one question.
Hold on, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Councilman Warren.
Yes. Would it be helpful to move on with the plan development approval for the hotel at this time and come back and deal with the other later? No? Okay.
Okay, without objection, this item will be moved to September 10th.
Madam Comptroller, please call item number 6.
Item number 6 is a resolution pursuant to Chapter 9.6 of the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code, approving a planned development at the subject property located at 4701 Boeingshire Drive. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is PD 23-29.
Councilman Canale, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee did not issue a recommendation on this item, but I will move it to the floor for discussion purposes. DPD, I would like to hear from you first, and then if we could hear from David Bray, and then we'll go to any questions from colleagues. DPD, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. This is Masano Stadnia with DPD. The case number is PD 2023-29. The applicant is requesting a planned development to build residential lot in area 2B, which has previously approved as a planned development entitled Summers Planned Development. You can see the location map and also the vicinity map in here. Here is the zoning map. Although that the PD is governing by the Summers Plan development. There is an underlying zoning of residential urban 3 as well. The land use is mostly single-family uses. You can see a few pictures of the site. The site is currently vacant. So here is part of the approved plan development. The applicant wants to develop area 2B, which has been zoomed in as well. And here is the requested site plan for them. I would like to mention that this case has been held several times because we had some discussions with the applicant and the owner as well. At first they wanted to they wanted to have 11 lots, but because of the intensity and also because of the opposition that we have received, we came to a conclusion to have 6 residential lots there. They could have a non-residential uses there, such as, let's say, computer sales and services, supply store, music and dance academy, but they prefer to have a non-commercial and have a residential use for this area, which is compatible with our opinion and also with the Memphis 3.0, which believes that this is a consistent use to bring to this area. To conclude this, as I mentioned, they want to have 6 residential lots right now, and we believe that this is going to be an even better transition from commercial to residential. And staff and DPD approved this case based on updating the outline plan conditions for Area 2B, but the Land Use Control Board rejected this case on April 11th, 2024. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you for that presentation. Mr. Bray, would you like to speak on this item before we go to questions?
Yes, sir. David Bray with Bray Firm, 2950 Stage Plaza North. As I told you guys at committee 2 weeks ago, we had an amended plan. We were cordially invited by the Red Oak Neighborhood Association to come to their annual meeting. We brought the plan that you see before you now with the 6 lots, not the 11 lots, and discussed it. I believe we had some positive feedback from that, but we were not invited to stay through their deliberations, so I will find out here in a minute when they get up to speak where they are on the plan. So I would like to reserve the rest of my time unless council has questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bray. Do you have any comment? I do. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bray. That's Stacy Woods, Stancy. Forgive me if Miss Woods, if you give us your name and address.
My name is Stancy Woods. I live at 2029 Elkmont Road.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Red Oak subdivision, we're stating that, as mentioned in the opposition statements on April the 11th, and in consideration of the proposed project at the southwest corner of Shelby Drive and Boeingshire, there may be environmental concerns to address before using the parcel for homes. State records reveal that the red outlined property is a leaking underground storage tank, abbreviated LUST. That site with a confirmed release. The site case has been closed, but apparently a remediation system was involved to remove some levels of contamination on the property. The red outline parcel was the location of at least 2 former gas stations. The yellow property outlined is a property was not confirmed release. They likely received the LUST designation due to some inspection failure, storage tank tightness, or other compliance issues. These are the only relevant facilities that we managed to find in a cursory search within a quarter mile around the proposed site. Those of us here today feel that more investigation should be done to determine if any contamination has affected the proposed project site. If groundwater flows in the direction of the proposed site from any of the adjoining or surrounding LUST sites, this could be a future issue for any development on the property. If the soil holding any levels of contamination, this should be determined before the project starts. Some of the hazards related to LUST sites are surface and below ground contamination of soils. In addition, vapor intrusion issues are common when development occurs on parcels that have contaminated soil. These statements do not affirm that there is any. Do I have to stop because of the clock?
Thank you, Ms. Woods.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate your comments. Shirley Jack?
Yes.
Name and address, please. You may
Shirley
proceed.
Jack, resident of Red Oaks, 4753 Rocky Knob, Memphis, Tennessee, 38116. I'm reading here from page number 1 of the Land Use Control Board's recommendation. At the regular meeting on Thursday, April 11, 2024, the Memphis and Shelby County Land Use Control Board held a public hearing on the above-mentioned application. At that meeting, David Bray spoke in support of the application and Laurice Coleman spoke in opposition to the application. The Land Use Control Board reviewed the application and the staff report, and a motion was made and second to recommend rejection. Our first area of concern is that on the same page and in the very next sentence, it reads, the motion failed by a unanimous vote of 7-0 on the regular agenda. Signed respectfully, Mashan Astanaya, Planner 2, Land Use and Development Services. It is our understanding that if the motion was brought forward and the board voted unanimously to reject the motion passed unanimously to reject said motion. Did this error occur in the application being moved forward to the City Council's committee on August the 6th and further to today's meeting? We submit this question for the sole purpose of clarifying in the procedure. In the same report, we also concerned about the redacted areas first reflected on the page 3, section D, which states the following uses are not permitted in the area 1A, 1B, 2, 1, and what appears to have been area 2B, which is the PD 2023-029, and has been redacted or marked through. This particular section clearly states that the following use of the property for liquor stores, pawn shops, pool halls, service stations, etc. are not permitted. However, with 2B being deleted, marked through, or redacted, it appears that if the application is approved and the applicant decides not to approve to build the proposed building, these types of businesses could now be permitted. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jack. Laurice Coleman. Ms. Coleman? Okay. Okay. Colleagues, I don't see anybody in the queue. While we wait to see if did you all bring handouts to give to the council? Did you all bring handouts to give to the council? Okay, while those are being passed out, Mr. Bray, would you address the leaking storage tank, please?
Yes, sir. The concerns, and this was addressed.
There you go.
This microphone really needs work. Is that better? Can you hear me? Okay. The concerns are on the property with the Shelby Drive frontage, not this property. The owner applicant had a level 1 done when he purchased the property. There was no further requirements for this property. I imagine that and as we discussed at the neighborhood meeting the other night, he'll probably have to have a level 2 when he goes forward with bank financing, but at this point it has not been warranted.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Walker, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This community, the Red Oaks community, is in my district, and it is also in the beautiful hamlet of Whitehaven. Before you, you have a signed petition, as well as some some other images from the area. So if we're not dealing with a gas station, we're dealing with these housing developments of these matchbox houses that want to go into an area where they don't match the existing houses. The Red Oaks community is the first neighborhood you get to when you come in to Memphis and Tennessee, when you're coming in from one of the arteries, specifically airways. It has been a long-standing, well-kept community. And I support the citizens, the residents of this community, in not wanting this development in their area. And I'm asking that you all support them as well. This community, they're homeowners. They take care of their property. They've made amazing contributions to this community. They're taxpayers. And some years ago, they were impacted by the airport buyout that left some spotted areas on the east perimeter of the neighborhood, which was also on airways, and these vacant lots are still sitting and nothing ever happened. These residents have just made some amazing contributions to this community, and they deserve to be heard. They deserve to be supported. Former MATA director William Hudson was a resident there. Lawrence and Magnolia Johnson. Reverend Barreen Parker. Former MLGW executive Carol Turman. The late Reverend Baskins of Middle Baptist Church. Cedric Wilson, former wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And also here with us today, former Youth Services Director Ike Griffin, and I can just go on and on. We have current and past first responders in this community, but what they're wanting to put there does not match what is already there, and we keep dealing with this over and over and over again. And I think the citizens, the residents, they deserve to be supported, and I ask for your support with me and support them and say vote no to this project. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Warren. Hold on, Councilman Warren. Has there been a community meeting since you amended it from 11 to 6 lots?
We had one, what was that, last Wednesday? At their annual meeting. We were invited to their annual meeting, and that's, and to the councilwoman's concerns, our lots now are similar density. The house sizes are similar size. These are all things that we addressed at that meeting. I was really hopeful that we would get a more positive response from the Red Oaks Neighborhood Association when we got up here tonight, because yes, the original plan with 11 lots was a higher density with smaller lots. But these lots are similar in size to what's immediately adjacent to us to the south. The houses would be in similar size to what's already there. And as opposed to office or retail development on the site, which is what's allowed under the existing PD, we think this is an improvement.
What is the square footage of the houses? What's the average square footage of the houses that you're proposing to build?
If you please.
Mark is a bachelor, and I'm the owner of Dolphin Construction. So the house will be anywhere from 2,000 to 2,300 square feet. I built 5 houses over on Whitworth, and they was anywhere from 17 to 1,900 square feet.
And what's the lot size?
They different sizes. The smallest one I think is like 8,000 square feet.
Without the plan.
Yeah, without the plan.
I think it's between 8,000 to 10,000 feet.
Councilman Warren.
Thank you. I was just wondering if Mr. Griffin could come up and I could ask him a question.
While he's coming up, it's that's a little blurry on the screen. I think it's the smallest one is probably around 8,200. What I'm looking at right there.
So with respect to acreage, is that a quarter acre, half acre, third of an acre?
That's a quarter.
A quarter acre.
Close to a third.
Mr. Griffin, the question I had is, it looks like you don't have anything there and someone can come and build whatever they want as far as, I guess a tattoo parlor or anything else they want to put over there for a business. Would the neighborhood not rather have housing if the houses are more in line with the current neighborhood? And I'm just wondering if, it seems like there might have been a communication error, because it sounded to me like the developer heard what you guys were saying, that you didn't want these small little homes there. You wanted homes that were more like your neighborhood, that would blend in. And if that's what they're doing, would you rather have that, or would you rather have a business there?
Well, first of all, thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity. One of the things that really...
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give me your name and address, please.
Ike Griffith, 2030 Meadowview Lane, Memphis, Tennessee, 38116.
Old friend of mine.
Yeah, okay. I think one of the things that really have plagued the community is that there was not solid information at the presentation, okay? The layout wasn't there for us to really put our eyes on it, to really see.
Okay.
And it's nothing binding that we have from Mr. Batchelor. This is something that really bothered not only me, but the rest of the community, because the presentation was vague, wasn't solid, and it was not concrete. And I really was concerned about the individuals who reside on Elkmont, which really butts up behind their backyard. And the way the layout, the way he described it, it wasn't conducive to have homes that tight against existing homes in our area. Not only that, we don't know whether or not, and he wasn't really certain on the structure, the layout of the entire process. And for that reason, we were against it, because we are really not sure about the exact plans.
So I would like to make a suggestion that it sounds like, and I'm hoping I'm right, that they have the ability to bring you that information you need at another meeting, and it might be worth delaying this for a vote and having those guys come back to you with what the things you requested, like layouts and, observation of how big the property, how big the sites are, so you can see that they're consistent with your neighborhood or not.
Correct.
And then you can come back and tell us if you like what they bring or not.
And also, even if they brought it down to 6, I think that's still too many for that area, for the layout, for each individual dwelling to have their own driveway. I think if they brought it down, even maybe 3, 2, that would be conducive to the rest of the community.
What are the average lot sizes for each piece of property? Like I live on a quarter acre. I have like a midtown size lot. What's your lot size?
I think that's in that
2 or 3 acres or? A third of an acre.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a little bit larger than a sort of midtown house size.
Right.
All right.
So we just really need to have some more concrete information, structure, layout for this project.
Well,
and really have something binding at the end of our meeting.
Thank you. If it's okay with Councilwoman Walker, I'd like to propose that maybe we give them a little bit more time to see if they can come up with something that would work, because otherwise I think you're going to have, businesses put in there. But I defer to you, Councilwoman Walker.
Now, if I can say this also before we leave. We are concerned about subsidized housing, okay? We don't want to have that type of housing as you come into our community. That's very important to us. The homes in that area, those are our biggest asset. And, we are already dealing with airport buyout. We're trying to revitalize our community, and we're doing a good job in doing it. But we just don't want anything to deter from making our homes a home seeker's paradise, that community. That's important to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Warren. Thank you, sir. It sounds like there's some compromise to be struck between the two parties. I'm going to let Councilwoman Walker speak, and then if you want to. Do they want to? No, I asked him a question. No, I'm going to.
I thought you all wanted to speak.
No. I'm going to go to you, Councilwoman Walker.
Well, I want to support the citizens. Do you all want to wait? Do you want me to hold this and get some more information for you? Or do you want us to vote today? Okay. The citizens want us to vote.
Okay, if no one wants to hold it, I will caution you that there's no guarantee on how this vote comes. And like Councilman Warren said, it could work out against your favor if there's not any more compromise willing to be struck between the two parties. But I'll do what this body wants to do. If no one wants to hold, then we'll go to a vote.
So you all want us to vote? You want us to hold it? I recommend that we hold this.
All right, without objection, this item is going to be held until September 10th, 3 weeks.
Madam Comptroller, please call item number 7.
Item number 7 is a resolution pursuant to Chapter 9.6 of the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code approving a plan development at the subject property located at 5225 Summer Avenue. This resolution is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is SUP 24-18.
Councilman Canale, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item was heard in committee and received a positive recommendation. With that, I move it to the floor.
Madam Controller, please call the vote. Prepare the screens for the vote.
Canale, yes. Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Please show Councilmember Espinosa is voting yes, and Warren is voting yes.
This item has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Madam Controller, please call item 8.
Item number 8 is a joint zoning ordinance amending the Memphis and Shelby County Unified Development Code as adopted by the City of Memphis on August 10th, 2010, and by Shelby County on August 9th, 2010, as amended to revise and enhance the joint zoning and subdivision regulations as recommended by the Memphis and Shelby County Division of Planning and Development and the Land Use Control Board. Up for third and final reading, this ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. It was held from August 6th. The case number is ZTA 24-02. The ordinance number is 5909.
Councilman Canale, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Comptroller, first, if you can make the voting screen show item 8. Second, this item was heard in committee. It was amended in committee. We held it so that it would line up with the county, but with that, I move it to the floor.
All right. Madam Controller, if you'll please prepare the screens to vote on item 8. Don't see anyone in the queue. We have one card. Okay. Christine Fox, if you'll please come at this time. Please state your name and address for the record.
Christine Fox, 244 North McNeil, 38112. So I came last city council meeting, and I had a question about the wording on one of the amendments, which I actually saw Mr. Zena at Memphis 3.0 meeting, and he helped clarify the meaning there. So that was good. But then since that time, I have gone back and just looked at the UDC that, you know, is what I assume is the current UDC, right? And so it looks to me like there are amendments being made to the UDC that have not gone through the entire city council and county commission approval process. So that is included in what I sent to you, Councilman Canale, because you did ask me for that after the last meeting. And I think I also said I would send the same email to all of the city council, which I did not do. So I will do that when I am home on my laptop. But so I just really wanted to comment on that and let y'all know that I will send you the email and also you, Mr. Zena. And so I really just wanted to comment. But also, just since I'm up here, I'd like to ask, not on this item, but when did we start having to show IDs to get in here for city council meetings?
We have a new security.
Okay, but
new security
yeah,
company.
just, okay. So that's pretty recent though, right? Okay, just.
All right,
checking
thank
on
you.
that. Okay, so.
Thank you so much. Director Zena, could you please come to the podium and offer some clarification?
Not at the podium, just stay down front.
Stay down front?
Yeah. We're going to listen to Director Zena.
Thank you, Director. If you'll please offer some clarification, please.
John Zena, Planning and Development. I'm not sure exactly what Ms. Fox is referring to. The zoning text amendment are amendments to the UDC that are being proposed. That's what you're voting on now. And third reading is pending with the County Commission. Will be at committee tomorrow, and then at full commission on Monday. So she's correct that these are pending amendments.
Thank you, Director. The screens are ready for the vote. Councilman, if you'll please cast your vote. Please cast your vote, Councilman.
Easter Thomas, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
Thank you. That item has been approved.
Madam Comptroller, would you please call the consent agenda? Colleagues, please, and Madam Comptroller, please take note that item 10 is being held until September 10th, and the public hearing date for 11B is now September 24th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 9 on our consent agenda is up for second reading. This ordinance is sponsored by the Division of Planning and Development. The case number is Z24-04. The ordinance number is 5914. For the record, item number 10 is held. Item number 11 is a notation from the Land Use Control Board that the following cases were heard and recommendations made requesting a date of public hearing. Our case number A, Northeast Region High School Plan Development, will be heard on September 10th, 2024. Our case number B, the hearing date changed during our committee today. It is 1560 Drew Road, and the date of public hearing is September 24th. And also on our add-ons, I have an ordinance that is up for first reading. It is item number 39 on our add-on agenda. It's an ordinance to amend Title 6, Chapter 92 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Memphis to extend the sunset clause for the Equal Business Opportunity Program. Up for first reading, ordinance number 5916 is sponsored by the administration. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our consent agenda items.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. That item was moved by Swearingen, Washington. I need a second, please. Seconded by Spinoza. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for the consent agenda.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
The consent agenda passes. Madam Comptroller, please call the fiscal consent agenda.
Thank you. That would take us to item number 12, a resolution to accept, allocate, and appropriate grant funds in the amount of $430,500 from the State of Tennessee Office of the Secretary of State, Tennessee State Library and Archives. Grant funds will be used to purchase supplies, books, and collection developed materials. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by Library Services, and there is a request for same night minutes. Item number 13 is a resolution to accept grant funds in the amount of $1,132,800 from the State of Tennessee for in-service training for 1,416 employees. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by Fire Services. There is a request for same night minutes. Item number 14 is a resolution accepting a donation of 200 first responder kits for kids awarded to the Memphis Police Department to support MPD with positive interactions with children during service calls. The donor is Playtime Adventures. First Responders Kits for Kids. An estimated value of the donation is $3,676. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by Police Services, and there is a request for same-night minutes. Item number 15 is a resolution accepting a donation of $2,000 in the form of a virtual gift card from Target Store D3332 on behalf of the City of Memphis Police Department to support the COPS Memphis Youth Crime Watch program and Rain Station's Future Leaders of Tomorrow program. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by Police Services. There's also a request for same-night minutes. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our fiscal consent agenda items.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Ford, you're recognized. I believe that Chief Adams was going to have you an answer by the 3:30 meeting. Go ahead. On item number 15. Chief Adams, did anybody ever confirm the amount?
No. Antonio Adams, Chief Operating Officer, City of Memphis. We did not confirm the amount, but we are going to hold because we're going to actually reach out to Target to connect to the person that they reached out to us and make sure that we confirm the actual amount and the actual project that Councilman Ford was referring to.
Okay.
So I did get in touch with Chief Davis and AC Hampton as well to confirm that we'll get that information.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Madam Comptroller, for the record, if you would separate items 12, 13, and 14 to be voted on as one, and then without objection, we're going to hold item number 15 for 3 weeks.
Right.
Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, you may cast your votes with those notes. Easter Thomas, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Warren, yes. Show Councilmember Ford as voting yes. Chairman Canale, yes.
The fiscal consent passes. Madam Comptroller, would you please call the MLGW fiscal consent?
The MLGW fiscal consent starts with item number 16, a resolution approving a contract of sale for the purchase of property located at 6347 Gillespie from Ekifar Ahmed for and in consideration of $410,000 for substation 29, expansion of substation 8 McCord to serve the surrounding community. Item number 17 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12194, NERC Professional Engineering Compliance Consultant with Guidehouse Incorporated to change the scope and extend the current contract in the funded amount of $550,000. Item number 18 is a resolution awarding purchase order to Wesco for Honeywell gatekeepers in the amount of $910,400. Item number 19 is a resolution awarding contract number 12487 LNG exterior painting of tanks to TMI Coatings, Inc. in the funded amount of $1,399,500. Item number 20 is a resolution approving change number 4 to contract number 12267, Micro Focus license renewal with Thomas Consultants Incorporated to ratify the authorization to pay for services and renew the current contract in the funded amount of $569,285.91. Item number 21 is a resolution approving change number 4 to contract number 11933, IVR replacement with DIRAD Technologies to change the scope and increase the current contract value in the funded amount of $731,993.98. Item number 22 is a resolution approving the ratification of purchase order number 7056886 to Lunny Cobb Ford for 3/4-ton trucks with utility beds in the amount of $189,900. Item number 23 is a resolution approving change number 3 to contract number 12529, MLGW Employee App with Engagedly Inc., doing business as the Employee App LLC, to ratify, renew, and change the scope of the contract in the funded amount of $68,368. Number 24 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12038, group term voluntary life and accidental death and dismemberment with Unum Insurance Company to increase the current contract value in the estimated funded amount of $3 million. And item number 25 is a resolution approving change number 2 to contract number 12037, short and long-term disability with Unum Insurance Company to increase the current contract value in the estimated funded amount of $2 million. Chairman Canali, that concludes our MLGW fiscal consent items.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Spinoza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met, recommends approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Spinoza, seconded by Swearingen Washington. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for MLGW fiscal consent.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please take us to our same night minute items, starting with item number 36.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 36, which should appear on the board momentarily, is a resolution authorizing the execution, delivery, and performance of a schedule to the master lease between J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and the City of Memphis, Tennessee, in an amount exceeding $2,100,000 relating to the acquisition of medium-duty Type 1 ambulances, approving certain other matters relating the lease and the acceptance and allocation of Medicaid reimbursement as a source of payment for the lease. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration, and there's a request for same night minutes.
Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Spinoza. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Please call item number 37.
Item number 37 is a resolution approving a one-time bonus of $3,000 totaling $16,797,000 to City of Memphis retirees. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration, and there is a request for same night minutes.
Councilwoman Green, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. As I said in committee, I'm incredibly supportive of this resolution, and I would like to ask to be added as a sponsor.
I think the whole council should be a sponsor.
Love that idea.
Councilwoman, would you, since Councilman Carlisle seems to have left his chair, would you say that the committee met, recommended approval?
The committee met and recommended approval, and I so move.
Thank you. Item was moved by Green, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Kennelly, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 38.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 38 should appear on the screen momentarily. It's a resolution to amend the Memphis City Council Community Grant Program for FY25, all council districts. This resolution is sponsored by council members Warren, Swearingen, Washington, Logan, Easter, Thomas, and Walker, and there is a request for same night minutes.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Councilman Warren, you're recognized. Would you walk us through the amendments, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee met and recommended approval, and I so move as amended.
Do you want to go over the amendments?
Yes. Let me find them in this stack. The primary amendment is at the council, we're also going from 30 to 50%, and the council at its discretion can award a one-time allotment that exceeds the 50% threshold if the organization has specific capital improvement needs and will be able to enhance services as a result of the improvement. Otherwise, the dates have been changed at the end. And the total amount is still $2,600,000 for the grants. And sponsors are myself, Janice Swearingen, Washington, Rhonda Logan, Pearl Walker, and Michael and Easter Thomas. And I so move.
Very good. Item was moved by Warren, seconded by Spinoza. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for item 38.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Please show Councilmember Spinoza as voting yes. Chairman Kennelly, yes.
That item passes. Please take us to item 27, Madam Comptroller.
Item number 27 is a resolution transferring FY25 allocations in the amount of $161,000 from CIP project number GS 24100, major modification, a cover line, to GS 24101, FY24, major modification roofing, and appropriating funds for roof replacement at Skinner Center Pool, Districts 5 and 6, Super Districts 8 and 9. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Swearingen, Washington.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met. There was a favorable recommendation, and I so move.
Item was moved by Swearingen, Washington, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Kennelly, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 28.
Item number 28 is a resolution transferring FY25 allocations in the amount of $1,085,000 from CIP project number GS 24100, major modification of cover line, to GS 24102 FY24, major modification electric, and appropriating funds for security camera upgrades at the Memphis Animal Shelter, installing Opticon traffic signals at various locations, 4 overhead door replacements at fire station number 15 and number 42, a generator replacement at fire station number 25, and elevator modernizations at Gaston Community Center. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Swearingen, Washington.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met. There was a favorable recommendation, and I so move.
Item was moved by Swearingen, Washington, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 29.
Item number 29 is a resolution transferring FY25 allocations in the amount of $500,000 from CIP project number GS24100, major modification, a cover line, to GS24104 FY24 major modification, HVAC, and appropriating funds for 12 RTU replacements at the old Allen police stations. Units are at the end of life cycle. District 4, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Swearingen Washington.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Spinoza. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for 29.
Chair, I also wanted to state that that was not District 4 for the old Allen station. Yes, that's District 1.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 30.
Item number 30 is a resolution transferring FY25 allocations in the amount of $762,650 from CIP project number GS24100, major modification, to a cover line, let me get that on the board, excuse me. GS24105 FY24 major modification, carpentry, and appropriating funds for the garage entrance door and guard shack replacement at 170 North Main, PSB, installation of multiple security steel cages around new units at Riverview Community Center, replacing the boardwalk at the Zoo's Cat Country, and a new salt storage unit at Public Works Sledge locations. Districts 5, 6, and 7, Super Districts 8 and 9. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Swearingen Washington.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met. There was a favorable recommendation, and I so move.
Item was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for 30.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 31.
Item number 31 is a resolution transferring FY25 allocations in the amount of $491,250 from CIP project number GS24100, major modification, a cover line, to GS24107 FY24, major modification contingencies, and appropriating funds for emergency, unplanned repairs, and/or upgrades. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Swearingen Washington.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met. There was a favorable recommendation, and I so move.
Item was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Green. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 32.
Item number 32 is a resolution to appropriate $1,500,000 in CIP allocated in FY25 CIP budget for Liberty Park Phase 2, CD 01106, District 4, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Logan.
Thank you, Chair. The committee met and recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for 32.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 33.
Number 33 is a resolution to appropriate $250,000 in CIP allocated in FY25 CIP budget for pinch infrastructure improvements, District 7, Super District 8. This resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Madam Comptroller, could you please change the screen to 33? And Councilwoman Logan, you're recognized.
I need to move it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. The Housing and Community Development Committee met and recommended that we approve this, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for 33.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 34.
Item number 34 is a resolution to appropriate $1,215,000 of the City of Memphis Division of Police Services CIP project number PD 02013 FY18 Police Academy renovation. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Logan.
Thank you again, Chair. The Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee met, recommended approval in this matter, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Madam Comptroller, please call item 35.
Item number 35 is a resolution to appropriate $200,000 of the City of Memphis Division of Police Services CIP project number PD 02018 Violent Crimes Unit renovation. All council districts, this resolution is sponsored by the administration.
Councilwoman Logan.
The committee met, recommended approval, and I so move.
Item was moved by Logan, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen for our final item.
Yes.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen, Washington, yes. Walker, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. That brings us to our same night minute items. Councilwoman Swearingen Washington, would you please read the same night minutes into the record?
Thank you, Chair. The same night minute items are 12, 13, 14, 26, 36, 37, and 38.
Did you say 15?
No, we took 15 off, right? 15 was removed.
That's a good catch. Will you please move that, Councilwoman Swearingen Washington?
Yes, sir.
Same night minute items was moved by Swearingen Washington, seconded by Warren. Seeing no members in the queue, please prepare the voting screen.
Easter Thomas, yes. Ford, yes. Green, yes. Logan, yes. Spinoza, yes. Swearingen Washington, yes. Warren, yes. Chairman Canali, yes.
That item passes. Colleagues, this brings us to our public comments. First up, Tara Miller. Name and address for the record. You have 2 minutes, Ms. Miller.
Hello. Okay. My name is Tara Miller, a licensed master social worker residing at 3551 Kearney Street in the lovely 38127. And I'm just wondering, is there a shortage of gas stations coming up soon that, the general public doesn't know about? Because, as Councilwoman Walker said, it seems like every time we're having some static around discussions about gas stations or residencies. I'm kind of wondering why item number 4 about the gas station was postponed, considering that the constituents of that area clearly stated that isn't what they wanted. And it's kind of giving me some flashbacks of the same scenario when the constituents from Westwood spoke about the gas stations on 3rd Street, and we had about 4 or 5 different meetings on that y'all finally decided to vote no on, despite how many times they consistently said they didn't want it. Even in my neighborhood, there's at least 6 gas stations within a 2-minute drive of each other. And our Family Dollar got closed down, our Dollar General got closed down, the Dollar Tree is hanging on by a thread, and all of that is putting an inevitable strain on the already overworked and underpaid employees at the Walgreens, which may be on the verge of being closed as well. Now, fortunately, I have the luxury to be able to get in my own vehicle and drive 15 minutes up the road to Millington to go to a quality grocery store, but I don't live in a vacuum. So I can acknowledge my privilege while also advocating for the people in my community. Not everybody has access to personal or even public transportation. And we see what's going on over there with MATA. Fraser, like most of the communities that these gas stations are intentionally being proposed to, is a food desert, yet for some reason gas stations are still being lobbied for. The same gas stations that peddle drugs and alcohol to our youth and that are a breeding ground for crime. I live right up the street from the Easy Mart where they had a shootout in broad daylight. The people are severely lacking resources that they desperately need to thrive, and I know the city has money to get it to them. So just because we live in the hood doesn't mean that we don't deserve nice things. So that's all for now, and I will see y'all in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Appreciate you being here. Josh Adams.
Good afternoon. Josh Adams with Memphis Artists for Change, 4080 Elvis Presley Boulevard. When I got here, I was denied entry unless I showed my identification. I'm pretty sure that's a new policy because I've been to quite a few city council meetings in the past and haven't had to do so. So unless there's been a policy change, I would like for that to not happen at the front door. One of my employees was also told that the meeting was over about 30 minutes ago. And so I don't know who this new company is or where they're getting their policies from. They told me they got them from Paul Young, but they couldn't send me a copy of the policy They couldn't send me a copy of the email that they got. So I'm flabbergasted by the type of security that y'all have now. And they say they came in after August 1st. But I mainly came here to talk about how difficult it is to have a conversation with city council members, mainly the District 8 representatives, who I'm guessing some are doing something great right now. But I've sent emails, I've had phone calls, left voicemails. I even appeared at a committee meeting 2 weeks ago and tried to get meetings set in person, which they didn't do. And so I was just here to deliver another reminder that Memphis Artists for Change has been organizing in South Memphis and in Westwood. We have some amazing opportunities coming up to make public safety look more like what the community is demanding, rather than it looking like what Brent Taylor comes up with out of his mansion in East Tennessee. So please, if you have an email from Memphis Artists for Change, please respond to it. Please schedule a meeting. We're down to talk. We're down to make beautiful things happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Joe Kent, closing us out.
Joe Kent, 5111 Flamingo. So don't worry about the minutia, and you just get ripped off and jack up taxes. District 8 and 9 have been overwhelming for overspends in downtown District 8 and subsequent rip-offs in District 8 to include Cossack, Cobblestones, and Mud Island, all by not being concerned with the minutia. Next, I would like to thank Doug McGowan and MLGW for their monthly financial transparency. That should be an extended practice to the city of Memphis, as championed by your MLGW chair, very own chair. As far as MATA, once they right size, they're going to need more money to provide adequate transit. I'm not talking about world-class transit system or them trying to sell you any of this stuff like the BRT and all that, which is 6 years behind schedule. But you're going to need at least $10 million more just for adequate transit. To that extent, there's $180 million in excess cash on the MLGW balance sheet, on the gas balance sheet, $180 million. Now that's a minutia that I hope you would try to get your arms around. $180 million. That money should be leveraged, and that money has no plan. No plan. MLGW has no plan. They just say they're going to burn it off. That should be used to leverage to smartly invest and support adequate transit without raising taxes. That money right there, $180 million in excess cash. It's just sitting there. It's not providing any jobs. It's not circulating the economy. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there with no plan. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. We always appreciate you being here. Colleagues, that brings us to the end of our meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded. We are adjourned.